I still remember the exact moment my entire life shattered. The funny thing is, when people talk about betrayal, they imagine some dramatic movie scene, loud arguments, screaming, someone getting caught red-handed. But real betrayal is quieter than that. It slips into your life unnoticed and waits until you're comfortable, before it destroys everything. Before we begin, I want to know where you're watching from. Comment your country below. And if you enjoy emotional stories filled with twists, justice, and unforgettable endings, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Now let me tell you what happened to me. My name is Ethan. I'm 34 years old now. But this story started almost 8 years ago. Back then, I thought I had the perfect marriage. My wife, Lauren, and I had been together for 6 years. We owned a small house in Ohio, had stable jobs, and spent our weekends planning a future together. I trusted her completely. I never checked her phone, never questioned where she was, never imagined she could betray me. Then little things started changing. She became distant. Her phone was always face down. She smiled at messages she wouldn't show me. Whenever I asked what was wrong, she'd laugh and tell me I was imagining things. And because I loved her, I believed her. One Friday evening, I left work early because I wasn't feeling well. I remember driving home in the rain, looking forward to resting on the couch. When I opened the front door, I immediately knew something wasn't right. There was a man's jacket hanging near the entrance. A jacket that didn't belong to me. My heart started pounding. At first, I tried convincing myself there was a reasonable explanation. Maybe a friend had stopped by. Maybe I was overthinking. Then I heard laughter coming from upstairs. A man's laughter. I slowly walked toward our bedroom. Every step felt heavier than the last. When I reached the door, I pushed it open, and my entire world collapsed. Lauren wasn't alone. She was in our bed with another man. For a second, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. We just stared at each other. Then Lauren's face turned white. Ethan! I can't explain, but I didn't want explanations. I didn't want excuses. I didn't want lies. I turned around and walked out before she could say another word. That night, she called me over 50 times. I ignored every single call. What I didn't know was that the worst part wasn't catching her. The worst part was what would happen after our divorce, and years later, when I thought I had finally escaped the pain she caused, Lauren would show up at my front door with a child who would change everything. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Lauren tried everything to save our marriage. She cried, apologized, and promised she would change. But some things can't be repaired once they're broken. Every time I looked at her, I saw that bedroom and the life she had destroyed. So, I walked away. The next few years were some of the hardest of my life. I buried myself in work, avoided relationships, and slowly rebuilt my confidence. It wasn't easy, but eventually the pain faded. I bought a new house, started a successful business, and created a life that no longer revolved around the betrayal. As for Lauren, I heard bits and pieces through mutual friends. The man she cheated with left her less than a year after our divorce. After that, she seemed to disappear. Honestly, I stopped caring, or at least I thought I did. Then one cold Saturday evening, nearly 7 years later, there was a knock at my door. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened it, I froze. Standing there was Lauren. She looked older, exhausted, and nothing like the confident woman I once knew. But she wasn't alone. Beside her stood a little boy, no older than 6. The child looked nervous as he held her hand. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then Lauren looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "Ethan, please, I need to talk to you." I felt old anger rising inside me. After 7 years, why was she here? And who was the child? Before I could ask, Lauren said something that made my blood run cold. "It's about him." She looked down at the boy. "There's something you deserve to know." At that moment, I had no idea that the secret she was about to reveal would turn my entire world upside down once again. I stared at Lauren and the little boy standing beside her. Every instinct told me to close the door and walk away. After everything she had done, she didn't deserve another second of my time. But there was something in her eyes that stopped me. Fear. Real fear. I finally stepped aside and let them in. The boy sat quietly on the couch while Lauren nervously twisted her hands together. Then she looked at me and said the words I never expected to hear. Ethan. His name is Noah. I nodded impatiently. What does that have to do with me? Lauren took a deep breath. The man I left you for wasn't Noah's father. My stomach tightened. She continued. When I found out I was pregnant, he abandoned me. He wanted nothing to do with the baby. I felt sympathy for the child, but that still didn't explain why she was standing in my living room. Then tears rolled down her face. For years, I believed he was Noah's father. But a few months ago, I found old medical records and realized the dates didn't match. I felt a strange chill run through my body. Lauren looked directly at me. Ethan, you're his father. The room went silent. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. 7 years. 7 years of birthdays, holidays, school events, and bedtime stories. 7 years that had been stolen from me. I looked at Noah. The more I stared, the more I noticed things I'd missed before. His eyes, his smile, even the shape of his face. For the first time, I saw pieces of myself in him. Anger exploded inside me. Not at Noah, at Lauren. You knew where I was all these years, I said. You let me live my life without knowing I had a son. Lauren lowered her head and started crying. But what she said next shocked me even more. There's another reason I came today, and that reason would force me to make the most important decision of my entire life. I stood there in complete disbelief. My hands were shaking as I looked at Noah, then back at Lauren. 7 years! 7 years of my son's life had been taken from me. 7 years of first words, birthdays, scraped knees, school pictures, and bedtime stories that I would never get back. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell Lauren to leave and never come back. But before I could say anything, she wiped away her tears and revealed the real reason she had come. I've been diagnosed with a serious illness, she said quietly. The doctors aren't sure how much time I have. It could be months, maybe less. The room suddenly felt smaller. My anger was still there, but now it was mixed with shock. Lauren looked at Noah. He deserves a parent who loves him. And despite everything I've done, I know that person is you. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Noah looked up at me. Are you really my dad? He asked softly. That question hit me harder than anything else that day. I knelt beside him and looked into his eyes. Yeah, I said, my voice breaking. I think I am. Noah smiled. It was a small smile, but it changed something inside me. In that moment, I realized that my biggest choice wasn't about Lauren. It was about him. Over the following weeks, I ordered a DNA test. The results confirmed what Lauren had said. Noah was my son. I won't pretend it was easy. I was furious. There were days when I couldn't even look at Lauren without remembering the betrayal that destroyed our marriage. But I also knew that holding on to that anger would only hurt Noah. So I made a decision. I forgave her. Not because she deserved it. Not because I forgot what she did, but because my son deserved a future that wasn't poisoned by the mistakes of the past. Over the next year, Noah and I built a relationship from scratch. We went fishing, played baseball, watched movies, and slowly made up for lost time. Lauren passed away 11 months after that night. Before she died, she thanked me for giving Noah the life she knew she couldn't. Today, Noah is the greatest blessing in my life. Lauren's betrayal broke my heart, but in the end, life gave me something far more valuable than revenge. It gave me my son, and that's a victory no one can ever take away from me.